Hello everyone and welcome back to today's video. In today's video we are going to be discussing the 2023 gubernatorial election in the state of Kentucky. Incumbent Governor Andy Beshear is running for a second term with his running mate Jacqueline Coleman, and he is being challenged by the Attorney General of Kentucky, Daniel Cameron, who is a Republican who won the Republican primary last Tuesday, May 16th. And Daniel Cameron is the Attorney General of Kentucky currently, which is the position that Andy Beshear held before he became governor in 2019 when he defeated then Governor Republican Matt Bevin by under a point. And we can pull up that map, and this map is going to be on the thumbnail as well. But as you can see, Andy Beshear managed to do well in the suburban counties bordering Ohio and Cincinnati, managed to do well in the Democratic strongholds of Louisville and Lexington, as well as he managed to do well in areas like Henderson, Kentucky, and the coal country in eastern Kentucky. And now moving into 2023, Daniel Cameron was challenged in the primary by Kelly Craft and a couple other Republican candidates. It was expected to be competitive, and I thought Craft was going to win the primary, but what ended up happening is Daniel Cameron ended up winning the primary by an extremely large margin. He was always the front runner, but Kelly Craft, after she invested a significant amount of her own personal wealth, managed to make it somewhat closer in the polls. However, at the end of the day, if you look at the Republican primary, and you can see Daniel Cameron was endorsed by Donald Trump, whereas Kelly Craft was endorsed by Ron DeSantis. So kind of a proxy battle between those two as well. And then when you look at the primary results, Daniel Cameron almost won 50% of the vote, despite the fact that polling only showed him at 33% with 13% undecided. So essentially, he won every undecided voter if that polling was correct. And Kelly Craft placed third, so Daniel Cameron had a strong performance in the primary, and Andy Beshear cruised to his renomination in the Democratic primary. He did not face a serious challenge at all. He won with 91% of the vote. And now looking at the general election. So general election polling for 2023, Andy Beshear, for his endorsements, he has the Kentucky AFL-CIO, the Kentucky Democratic Party, the United Mine Workers of America, and the Fairness Campaign, whereas Daniel Cameron has Donald Trump, Kevin Bratcher, who is a state representative from the 29th District, the president of Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, in that organization, as well as the Kentucky Right to Life Committee. And polling conducted back in January by Mason-Dixon from January 18th to 23rd, with registered voters, 625 of them, when a margin of error of plus or minus 4% showed Andy Beshear leading Daniel Cameron by 9 points, 49% to 40%, with 11% of voters undecided. Daniel Cameron has not selected a running mate yet. I might as well add that. And now new polling from May 18th to 19th, conducted from 2 to 3 days after the Republican and Democratic primaries, conducted by Coefficient, which is a Republican pollster, with 987 likely voters. And remember, as I've said before, likely voters tend to skew a little more Republican. Registered voters tend to skew a little more Democratic. Also, a smaller margin for error, which makes sense with a larger sample size, showed that Andy Beshear would be receiving 45% of the vote to Daniel Cameron's 43% of the vote, with 12% of voters undecided. So Andy Beshear is still leading, even in a Republican poll, in the state of Kentucky, which was carried by Donald Trump by 26 points in 2020. Senator Rand Paul won re-election by over 25 points in 2022. So the fact that Andy Beshear is still leading in a Republican poll shows that he is a strong candidate for the Democrats. And I believe that Andy Beshear is going to win re-election. He has an approval rating of 60%. He has not only the highest approval rating of any Democratic governor in a Republican state, but he has one of the highest approval ratings of any governor across the country. And then you go back to 2019 and look at the polling there for the general election. And you can see two of the political pollsters ranked it as a toss-up, one ranked it as lean R, and now one is a toss-up and two are lean D. And then you look at the polling, and Andy Beshear, 55%, Now, obviously, that's a Democratic poll, so it's going to be a little more Democratic. The Trafalgar Group Republican poll going to be a little bit more Republican, but some of these neutral polls really showed it as an even race, and Andy Beshear still won by just under a point. So then moving on to 2023, and we see that some of these neutral polls are showing Andy Beshear leading by 9, and the Republican polls are showing Andy Beshear leading by 2, whereas the Republican polls in 2019 showed Matt Bevin leading Andy Beshear by a large margin. So looking at that, we're still 6 months away from the general election, but looking at the way this race is shaping up, it looks like Andy Beshear is going to win re-election. And I categorized Kentucky as likely Republican in my May prediction for the 2023 gubernatorial elections. And I thought Kelly Craft was going to win the primary, and it was going to be high likely. And now Daniel Cameron has won the primary, so going into June, I will probably categorize Kentucky as either low likely or high lean. I think Andy Beshear will end up winning 52% of the vote to Daniel Cameron's 48% of the vote. I think Andy Beshear will win re-election by 4 points. I think it's going to be more competitive than if Kelly Craft was the Republican nominee. However, I think that Andy Beshear will win his re-election campaign. He'll be re-elected to a second term as the governor of Kentucky, and I think he'll win 52% of the vote. So very decisive victory, even though it's competitive, he's going to receive over 50% of the vote. There's some minor third-party candidates. So in 2019, he received, I think, 49.2% of the vote to 48.8. Yeah, 49.2% of the vote. I think in 2023, he's going to receive 52% of the vote and be decisively reelected, even though only by a margin of 4 points, but over 50%. Competitive, but I think he is going to be reelected. And thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informational. Please remember to like the video to make sure it gets recommended to more people. And please remember to subscribe to my channel so you can get notified whenever I post a new video so you can watch those videos, learn some more stuff about politics. I hope you enjoy the content. Please remember to leave a comment down below if you have a question or just want to promote. If you have your own political prediction channel, feel free to promote that down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you all have a great day. Once again, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.